Hi, this is Rick Julian, Chief Creative Officer of QV, and this is The Deep Dive. A couple of months ago, I had a conversation with a man who said something to me that has been on a constant loop in my mind since the moment he uttered it. He said, the most powerful person in the room is the one with the least to hide. The most powerful person in the room is the one with the least to hide. And I asked him to unpack that for me. It's a curious statement. And over the course of about 10 minutes, he told me the story of his life. He told me about his childhood, his struggles, his successes. He told me about his college years as an athlete. Fascinating story. Some powerful decisions, questionable decisions that he made. He told me about his first marriage. And he was very raw and real and honest. His first child, he told me about. He told me about the failure of that marriage. He told me why, with 100% self-responsibility. Imagine that. He told me about a business empire that he built and how it came crashing down around him. How he went from the highest highs to the lowest lows. He told me about his second marriage. And 2 more children. And how that marriage had at one point become a living hell for he and his wife. Until he had an epiphany. And he decided to face his truth. And to become and to speak his truth. Unvarnished. Vulnerable, like Brene Brown, vulnerable on steroids, vulnerable. And he told me how that epiphany led him to the biggest breakthroughs in his personal life and his consciousness and his awareness. And how that transported him to heights of success in business that were beyond anything that he could have ever imagined for himself. He now makes about $40 million a year. And at the end of that 8 minutes or 10 minutes of him telling me that story, I had no doubt in my mind that with very, very rare exception, any and every room that he walks into, and he walks into some pretty big rooms, he is indeed the most powerful person in that room because he indeed has nothing to hide. He was willing to lay it all out. And in laying it all out, he killed all of his shame around it. He killed all of his guilt around those things. A man just like you and I, a human just like you and I. He lived a life like we are living ours, mistakes and all. But he had no shame and no regret and no guilt around it. So he was very, very clear. And you knew that when he looked you in the eye, like I'm looking you in the eye right now, that you didn't need to wonder about some agenda, some hidden agenda, any squirreliness that was going on, because he was clear. And that gave him a level of authority. He's also very bright. He's also very good at what he does. So when you combine all those things together, that's a pretty potent combination, my friends. You know, you have to wonder, there's a very big question here. Are we here to succeed in business, or are we here to succeed in life? And if you succeed in business but aren't succeeding in life, have you really succeeded? If you are making $40 million a year, but your home life is a wreck, can you be successful? Can you truly call yourself wealthy? No. Not by my measure. Many of you don't know me. Several of you do. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all of you watching. I've been doing this about 10 days. 10 days every business day. If I do this for 100 days, I'll be much better. I'll be much shorter. If I do this for 365 days, one of two things will happen. I'm either going to have sunk my career to a place where I will never, ever be able to recover, or I will have cultivated a portfolio of business opportunities, a pipeline full of them, a line very, very long of people waiting to work with me. And it will be for one reason. I wanted to be the person in the room with nothing to hide. Peace.